Hello David and good morning. This is your Breville Barista Pro in the black truffle color. Just finished refurbishing it. It's in good condition. As you saw in the photos, it does have some minor wear and tear. So mainly around where the cup goes in and out, you've got some paint scratches here, minor scratches on the front. A couple here on the front, top and the right hand side. Not sure why. But what matters more is that the machine works like new. I've just finished doing the full refurbishment, so I changed all the seals on the boilers and pumps, on the boiler and pumps, and the valves as well. I also changed some of the connectors on the boiler, or the heating coil, just to make sure they don't leak in the next few years. I've tested everything at full pressure at the water side, I've tested full pressure at the steam side, made sure there's no leaks whatsoever, and also with the cleaning cycle. Machine works like new, the grinder works fine, everything works fine, and I'm confident you'll be enjoying it for a very long time. I like to warm up my machine before I use it, so I actually have the Oracle Jet here on the left. It's a touchscreen automatic version of this, but it's actually the same pump and the same boiler, believe it or not. So when I turn my machine, I like to let it warm up and I do a blank shot to warm the handle and warm the cup as well. So see, when you turn it on, it takes 5 minutes for it to be ready to be used. So honestly, you can make coffee right away. But I would recommend, if you want a good cup of coffee, a nice hot temperature, you want to warm it up. So get your cup underneath, put your handle here in the middle, no coffee inside of course. Press the double button. It's going to give you about 50 or 60 mils of water, which, like I said, will warm up the components that aren't actively heated. So for example, when you turn it on, the boiler would be ready to go, but like the handle would be cold, your cup would be cold. That's why I like to do a warm up shot. It also acts like a bit of a flush, a bit of a cleaning cycle. It cleans all of the coffee grounds and deposits and oils stuck in the group head. So it's good to do out of habit, I think, before and after the shot. Once you do that, let's test the single cup for you. So the double cup went for about 60 mils, a bit more. Single cup usually goes for half of that. And you can also look at the number of seconds. So the first one was 15 seconds, this one is 11 seconds. So not exactly double, but you can program them with whatever volume you wish. So you can go in the menu, you can scroll to the single or the double cup, and you can start to program the volume of water or the volume of coffee that you desire. And I'll actually show you how to do that. Okay, warm up done. Next we would grind some beans, and I will do that in a second. So I'll take the handle off, give it a good wipe with a tissue or a towel. You want it to be nice and dry before you grind the coffee into it. Your machine comes with all of the baskets, all 4 of them. This is the double shot single wall basket, which takes, I want to say, 18, so about 18 grams of coffee, depending on which bean you use. Let's put this aside. I've got a scale here to measure the input and the output. So I'll be measuring the input, like I said, 18 grams. You can do it in 2 ways. You can grind a single dose, pause, measure, and then grind again. Or you can grind the full dose all at once. Now I'm just looking for my tamper. I'm not sure where I've placed it. It's right here. I will use grind size number 2. I will use, say, 13 seconds of 13 seconds of grind time. Now the grind size is shown on the screen. It's controlled on the dial here on the left. This goes from grind size 1 all the way up to grind size 30. So the grind size will dictate how fast or how slow your coffee will pour. So if you've got a large grind size of all the way up to 30, let's say, your coffee will be very quick to pour. The brew will take 10 or 15 seconds. That's not good. If you have a very small grind size, let's say if you go all the way down to 1 or even below 1, it is doable, by the way. I'll teach you how to do that. So if you go a very small grind size, what you'll see is that your coffee will take ages to come out. So your brew will take 45 seconds, a minute. That's too long for a shot. The ideal brew time is 30 seconds and the output should be 40 grams. That's the easiest way I can explain to you an espresso recipe. 40 grams out in 30 seconds from a double shot. That's almost a 2-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 recipe, meaning for every gram you grind, you want 2 grams into the cup. 30 seconds. So I'll make a coffee at size. I actually haven't made a coffee on this exact unit yet. I've made coffee on hundreds of Barista Pros, and each one is a little bit different on the grind size, but I haven't made a coffee yet on this exact unit. Let's have a look. The grind size looks decent, maybe on the finer size. So it might come out a bit slow, so I will increase it to grind size 4. Yeah, let's go grind size 5. Then what I'm doing after I change the grind size, I like to grind for another couple seconds to get rid of the old grind size, just to make sure I start fresh, right? Okay, so make sure my scale is on 0, grind size number 5, double shot basket, and we'll do 13 seconds, but I'll measure it halfway. So after 6.5 seconds, I'll stop, I'll measure, and then I'll continue. 6.5 seconds. Let's measure that. That is 9 grams. Perfect. I'll lightly press. See what I did there? It was a bit brisk, but I lightly pressed the coffee halfway through. So I ground half the dose, I pressed, and then I ground the second single dose. So now it's a double dose. The reason you press halfway is to make space for the next dose. If you don't do that pressing halfway, if you don't compact the coffee halfway, what will happen is you may spill some of the coffee as you're taking the handle or the portafilter off. So it may spill onto the counter or onto the bench, which is not good. Grab the tamper off and press it. Make sure it's nice and even. Honestly, before you press the coffee, make sure you spread the coffee with your finger, with your palm, just to ensure that the pressure is all even across the surface here. Like for example, if the one area is high and one area is low and you press, you'll have really high pressure here and low pressure here. You want it to be even, to make sure you get an even cup of coffee as well. That's perfect. Let's see how much that is. That's 17 grams. I mean, it's okay. I'll just double check. Breville includes a razor tool, which helps you calibrate the dose. And that's not too bad. I mean, I can probably increase it by another, probably ½ gram. So yeah, what I might do, I'll put it on 14 and I'll grind for another second, just to give you an idea. It's about a second. And that's 18 grams. So at the grind size, sorry, at the brew time, can't even speak. At the grind time of 14 seconds, you get about 18 grams of coffee, which is good. Make sure it's nice and flat, then press it with the tamper. Yeah, that looks about right. This is with the help of the scale. It's telling us that we've got 18 grams of coffee. We're happy. If you don't have a scale, you have a couple of ways of verifying that you have the right dose. Number one, you want to use the tamper. So the silver part on the tamper should disappear when you have the correct dose. So I've got my coffee here, I've got it compacted. This silver part should disappear. Or even before you press the coffee down, when you finish grinding, before you press the coffee down, it should be nice and flush, nice and level with the top of the basket here. And then once you press, this silver part disappears. These are a couple of ways you can know that you've got the right dose in the basket, if you don't have a scale. Otherwise, you can also use the razor tool. It's like a calibration piece of aluminium. You put it in and you see if it's too shallow or too deep. So if the coffee barely touches this bottom edge, then you've got the right amount of coffee. It's gonna tell you if you've got too much or too little. If you see a large gap, then that's too much. If you see a large gap, then you've got too little coffee in the handle. And if it digs into the coffee, then you have too much coffee. And if it digs in, you can just rotate it back and forth, and it'll scrape off that top layer, that excessive layer of coffee. So you can chuck it in the bin or something. Chuck it in the bin. And then after that, you can press again with the tamper. That's a nice smooth surface. Clean off the edges and then lock it in the middle. You're ready to start brewing the espresso shot now. So that was a lot of steps for what usually is a quick process. When you get used to it, you don't have to use the scale every day. You don't have to use the razor tool every day. Sorry about that. Yeah, so usually when you get used to the process, you'll do it within 30 seconds, honestly. You'll grind the coffee, you'll press, you'll move it to the middle. That's it. It's just in the first couple of days, if this was your first coffee machine, you'll learn how to get the right numbers and the right grind size, and you'll learn how to use the tamper and the razor tool. Hope that wasn't too overwhelming. So, I'll get rid of this hot water in the cup. And if you like to add any sugar or sweetener or flavors to your coffee, I recommend you add them now before you start brewing the espresso. It'll help everything mix more evenly as the coffee comes down afterwards. I like to add a little bit of sugar to my coffee, so I use the hot water spout. So you turn the dial away from you, gives you clean hot water straight from the boiler. It starts to get warmer after a couple seconds. Just like that. And the sugar helps the water helps the sugar dissolve. So that's why I like using the hot water spout on these machines. Sweet. Right, I'm also going to be measuring the output. So we measured the input, it was 18 grams. If we want to measure the output, it should be 40 grams in 30 seconds. That's if we have the correct grind size. Like I said, if it's running too quick, I'll slow it down with reducing the grind size. If it's running too slow, I'll speed it up by increasing the grind size. Think of the grind size as if it's the speed, the coffee speed dial. Smaller number, smaller speed. Larger number, larger speed. That's how I like to think about it. Okay. The other thing I want to teach you is how to change the dose on the buttons. So generally from factory, they give you too much coffee. So this will give you too much coffee than what I would prefer. We were aiming for 40 grams. If I press this button, I might get 50 or 60 grams or 50 or 60 mils of coffee, which is too much. So I'll teach you how to change it. I'll change it for you so that when you receive the machine, you can just use my settings. You don't have to faff around with the buttons. Right, so you go in the menu, you would go into the custom double, and then it'll light up. Then you press it, and then it will start to make coffee. And then when you press it again, it will stop and save that quantity of coffee. So let's go, 3, 2, 1. And you've got a timer. It'll start once the pump starts to pump water into the coffee. It's coming out nice and slow, maybe too slow for my liking. I might have to increase the grind size, but we'll see how we go. So we're at the 30-second mark now. I'll let it go for another 10 seconds or so. But yeah, it's a very nice syrupy texture. Got a decent amount of crema. Yeah, that's very good. It is a bit longer than I wanted. It is 40 seconds. But honestly, still within an acceptable range. That's 35 grams. Again, acceptable. I'll show you what that looks like. Sorry about the mess. Just trying to show you. 35 grams. That's what it looks like in a cup. So about an ounce if you use the imperial system. Yeah, so I was aiming for 40 grams, I got 35. Still around the 2-to-1 ratio if you think 18 times 2 is 36. This is pretty good. It will be a nice strong flavor because it was a bit slower, so it's got more time to extract the coffee. If I were to do it again and I was a perfectionist, I would run it at grind size 6 and see how we go. Probably at grind size 6 you'll get a quicker flow, so instead of taking 40 seconds, it'll take maybe 35. Don't jump in massive steps, so only jump 1 or 2 numbers at most. That's at least my advice, if it's not too far off. If it's very far off, if say this extraction took a minute and a half or a minute, which is ridiculous, but if it took a minute, then I would obviously change it by many numbers, not just 1 or 2. I would change it by 5 or 6 or 7. But I think we're very close to the right mark, and I wouldn't throw this in the bin. I think this is a good shot still. Nice strong shot. If you drink it on its own, that's an espresso. If you add hot water with the hot water tap, you can call it an Americano, long black. I'm going to convert it into a latte. So I'll get my jug. Forgot to mention that you also need to do the cleaning after the milk as well. So knock this into a bin or a knock box. Do a quick flush. So press the button. This will give you hot water again to clean the shower screen as well as the basket itself. Just move it in a few angles. And then that's all clean. If you want to be extra nice to your machine, grab a tissue or a towel and wipe the grip seal. There's nooks and crannies up here that even the water doesn't get to. See that? A bit of ground coffee that has built up, so always good to clean them before they build up and become an issue later down the road. That's about it. So here's your jug. I'm gonna fill it just there with some cold full cream milk. Better to use cold milk because it'll give you more time and more opportunity to froth and texture the milk. I might just quickly rinse the jug. There we go. And then, yeah, like I said, if you have a middle-sized cup, don't add more than maybe halfway, just there, just below this curve. Right, turn on the steamer. It'll take about 5 seconds to start steaming. Give it a couple more seconds and turn it off. Put it back, turn it back on. So the position of your jug is really important. You want the jug to be at an angle. You want the wand to be at the edge of the jug, as in a position to spin the milk. So it's spinning like a vortex, like a little tornado. And the depth of the wand is really important as well. So the deeper the wand, the less foam you get. If you wanted to get more foam, more bubbles, whatever you call it, more texture, you want to keep the wand shallow. If you want somewhere in between, then keep the wand somewhere in between. And then keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and when it's too hot to the touch, turn it off. And the machine will cool down. Once it cools down, 2 important things. I want you to grab a wet towel, not a piece of tissue, an actual towel, and scrub the tip. It will get really hot. Obviously, it's a piece of metal with milk with steam going through it, so the milk will stick. It will be hardened within a few seconds, and it'll be a pain to remove if you don't remove it straight away. The other important thing, I want you to purge. Turn it on for 2 or 3 seconds and let it push some water or some steam, just to clean those holes from any milk. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will block your wand. So you'll wake up the next morning, you're not getting any steam output. Why? Because you've forgotten to clean your wand. And I've seen that, honestly, like 2 days ago, where a customer has a Barista Pro and her wand didn't work because she forgot to clean it the day before. We don't want to do that. And if you have a pin, like a little safety pin or a pin tool, you can always clean the holes when you've got a suspicion that it's blocked. We've got 4 holes you want to clean. There we go. It's a nice thick texture. Mix up all your crema and the sugar and flavors and whatever you've got in the cup. Mix them up nicely. Delicious. That is a delicious coffee. Honestly, if I were to drink this on its own, I would be pretty happy. But we're making a latte today. So you've got the jug. Swirl it around until it's nice and smooth. If you've got any air bubbles, knock them off so that they break. So my phone decided to die at a very convenient time. But anyway, here's the cup that I made. Not my best latte art. I think the texture is a bit too thick because of my technique and me speaking and doing 2 things at the same time. But yeah, the coffee looks delicious. It's got 2 centimeters of foam. I attempted to do a bit of a heart shape. Honestly, with some skill and some practice and the right milk, you will get really, really good results from this machine. It's got the name Pro for a reason. It's used by a lot of the professionals because it's a really good, reliable, powerful machine. Hope you can make better coffees than me. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate in contacting me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon, and have a great day. Cheers.